Tony Mowbray, your thoughts first of all. The football fixtures have delivered him in his first game back in charge of West Brom to here, of all places.
Yeah, listen, firstly it's fantastic to see Tony healthy and well and back to his best, you know, and back in the game, back in a good job, in a big role, and you know, the challenging months and year or so that he's had and him and his family have had to face and come through is I'm sure it's been tough and not easy to get to this point, but fantastic to see him back. Fantastic. Be fantastic to see him again tomorrow night. Obviously there's a whole different side to it in terms of we're trying to win a game, but aside from that, it's great to see him looking so well.
It's remarkable. He's managed the teams 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th in the Championship. Tells you a lot about his knowledge of football at this level. Yeah,
for sure. Experience, you know, knowledge, different experiences for an awful long period of time, and so yeah, I think it tells you the level of a manager and what he can get from teams and the level of success he's had over such a long period of time.
Of course, tomorrow night there'll be no room for sentiment. This is a massive game, a game which you can leapfrog West Brom back into the playoffs. So, from that perspective, tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's a big game for us, I think, because we want to pick up more points. We should have had more points, but we need to pick up more points moving forward, and it's the next opportunity in front of us. In terms of the playoffs, listen, it's a huge factor in the actual season itself. Right now, it's whether we move one position or two positions. It's not about that for me. It's about doing all the things we've done pretty well at times. For periods in games, we need to do that for a lot longer and finish games off and be in a position where we're picking up more points. So it's a lot of focus on us doing more of the good things, really, and the results will come. Having said that, they're around us in the league, and we know that, and we appreciate that, and these games can kind of have a bigger impact if you can manage to win the game. So surely that gives us that extra incentive to try and make it a good night.
I mean, your assessment of West Brom, they have, I think, the 4th best defensive record in the Championship, but then Borough have the 2nd best goal scoring record. So what's your expectations for tomorrow night? Yeah,
it's a little bit difficult to predict in terms of Tony going in there and what kind of things he's going to change, and if he changes too much, you know, we'll have to see. There's a little bit of calculated kind of guessing, if you like, from our point of view, and using our experience and knowledge to try and gauge what that's going to look like from their point of view. But that's the balance. Again, largely our focus is on ourselves. They're a good team, you know. They're really a lot of experience at this level and above within the team, and so we know that they've done very similar things for a long period of time. So it's deep ingrained. They know each other very, very well, and Tony's obviously coming in to have his stand in that. So I expect a tough game. Probably be a tight game. Hopefully we can come out on top.
Well, you talked after Portsmouth about changing the cycle. How important is this transfer window? I mean, both keeping your existing players and also possibly moving into the transfer market yourself.
Transfer windows are always important, you know, always important. Whatever situation you find yourself in different ways, they're always important because it's a time where you can make a bit of a difference, and that hasn't changed. You know, 1 or 2 results doesn't change the importance of it, or doesn't change the psyche really for our point of view when it comes to recruitment. Players coming in, players leaving, it doesn't change that over a period of 1 week or 2 weeks. I think it's the plan's a little bit longer than that.
And any news about Emmanuel Matingat? There was talk about reports of a bid from Atlanta. Is there any more developments there?
We've got exactly the same squad as we had for the last game for this one.
So he's playing tomorrow?
I don't know if he's playing yet. You've jumped ahead of that one, but we've got the same squad.
Just off the back of that, Michael, how's Anthony and Riley?
Yeah, they're gonna miss a little bit longer. They're definitely not going to be around it for the next week or so. So yeah, we'll try and get them back as soon as we can. We're still fully assessing where that means, but certainly a week or two at least.
Ian and Luke back on the pitch on Saturday. How did they come through that, and where were they at?
Yeah, they came through it well. No other issues after the game, which is positive for us. And yeah, good to have Aidan and Luke back. You know, they've different times out, similar injuries actually in the end. Didn't have much training leading into the game, but both got on the pitch in different ways. So yeah, it was a good step for both of them, and great to have them around the group again.
Yeah, and Senny De Jong as well, back on the bench. How's he at the moment?
Yeah, Senny's back now. Yeah, Senny's fine. Senny's back.
Yeah, and obviously on the bench, but after a long injury, was that kind of why he was on the bench, or was that a selection decision in terms of, you know, reward?
No, Senny's fit. Yeah, Senny's fit.
And so is that kind of almost a reward for Tom? I mean, he's come in and done well in the periods.
Yeah, that's part of it. You know, it's sometimes it's not always easy picking teams. That I've said it to you at times during the season, and then the squad we've got and the choices we've got to make. You know, that's part of it. Tom's done well, so he deserves to play tomorrow.
On the transfer front, obviously you've been speaking about the window there. I mean, it feels like there's, you know, potentially plate spinning, if you like, there, things that are being explored from the club point of view. I know you always talk about, you know, the looking to strengthen if you can. Where you're at the moment on things, I know you don't like to talk about individuals, but are you happy with the way things are progressing?
No, we're always pushing to do something, what we can look to see where we can add, where we can improve. Yeah, we're doing that. I know that's a constant thing, and sometimes it chops and changes from day to day in terms of what can be done, but it certainly doesn't change the idea of what we're trying to get to and where we want to get to. So certainly pushing for something to happen in certain ways, but we'll have to wait and see what comes of it.
Yeah. Is it almost, I know we talked about the kind of evolution of the squad and even the evolution of the game in many ways. I know we spoke about how much the championship changed since you've come in. Are you learning all the time about your team, and, you know, particularly during the season, kind of, you know, things that might be needed and things that, you know, might need strengthening?
Yeah, definitely. I think never stop learning. You always should learn. There's always things to take from it. I'm not precious enough or stubborn enough to not allow things to seep in and learn from, and acknowledge sometimes you do something well, sometimes we can tweak and do things better. That's fine. That's part of gaining experience. That's just constantly going on, really, whether that's on the pitch, off the pitch, around the place, watching other games, constantly trying to get better.
Yeah, on getting better as well. I mean, we mentioned a few times form's not quite what you would want it to be, and obviously improvement needed. We've spoken about factors as well, and one of the things that often crops up is, you know, teams coming in and perhaps playing with that kind of low block defence. I mean, from your perspective, as you're trying to kind of change that, what do you feel needs to happen to kind of, you know, make that better? Yeah,
listen, as honest, and we got to accept it. You know, we feel we should have had more points. We could have, should have. We got to put that into practice, and we got to put that into points even and moving forward. There's no hiding away from that. There's things we can do better. However teams line up or play against us, we got to deal with. It's not always been the same, but that's part of football, you know. And yeah, we got to do better. We need more points. There's no shying away from that.
Do you feel it is just kind of almost like an implementation thing in terms of, you know, being better, adding that extra quality or end product? Or could you perhaps mix it up a bit more? Is that something that you might look at? Or
yeah, listen, we've scored a lot of goals this season, and we're capable of scoring a lot of goals. And I think it's easy, and it's easy for coaches and managers to overanalyze, and that's the balance really of picking what to maybe tweak, what to change, what to keep the same, and keep believing in it. That's the constant balance of that. But we have scored a lot of goals throughout the season. We're capable of doing that. At times, the disappointing thing is we've been really good in games and put ourselves in a position where we've been ahead. Games on 90 minutes, and we've got to manage the whole cycle of a football match. And again, the encouraging thing is we've been in that position. You know, we haven't been in games too often where we've been on the other side of it. So we need to do, as I said earlier, we need to do the good things that we've done. We need to keep doing it, and we need to manage games and see games out and finish them off.
Just on the goalkeepers, Michael, there's been talk of a keeper potentially coming in. Travers at Bournemouth is a name that's been mentioned, obviously. Do you expect Senny to still be here come the end of the month? I mean, is he still a big part of your plans?
Yeah, he's an important player for us. Like all the players are. All the players that are here are important for us. So I don't treat anyone. I try not to treat anyone different. Maybe one of the two of them might say that in the dressing room, but I genuinely try to treat everybody the same and give them the fair chance. That doesn't change. Whoever's here and while they're here, I'll be exactly the same.
And again, we know that there's been talk of Emmanuel, there's been interest in Emmanuel, all of that. The club have always been pretty good at having plans in place. I'm sure that there will be plans in place. Clearly, the nearer you get to the window, the harder potentially is to enact them plans if something happens. I mean, does the club have, if you like, not necessarily a deadline, but a point at which it becomes much harder to let players leave to be able to replace them?
Yeah, I think regardless of any individual, I think, or any club, so I'm just talking very generically, here, I think the closer it gets to a deadline, that is always the case. No matter what club you are, what players you've got, that's always the danger. That's why you see a lot of things can happen on the last day or so of transfer windows. That's just the world we live in, that's the business, that's how it's been created, and why so many are glued to deadline day to see what's going to happen, on that side of the fence. Then if you've got players that other teams are interested in, then yeah, of course it does leave that open, but there's nothing you can do about that. Really, there's nothing else you can do to control that apart from stay calm and like you say, have a plan. Timing is to then implement plans, that's another issue, but that's just, it's not new. It's not new for this window. It's not new to us. That's just actual business, and you just got to accept it.
And last one on the transfers, I promise you, for today. I mean, Ben's situation is clearly he's out of your hands to a certain degree, at least. As a club, is there regular contact with Liverpool about their thinking around Ben and stuff, or is it really just a case of kind of at any point you, as a club, could get the phone call saying, right, he's back to Anfield?
No, there's something in place where we after it's not the window, it's not the end of the window for Ben, so it doesn't go up to that. So a lot of loans do that anyway. So yeah, there's a lot of loans do that anyway. So there's nothing changing for us for that side of things. Really, genuinely, there's nothing changing, and we're pretty calm about things.
And when you talk about kind of changing the cycle and the
when I'm saying that as well, I don't want to make a huge thing. I'm not trying to make a big thing of it either. We're not necessarily making a big deal of it. It's just more of we're aware of it. As I said, going back there with talking earlier, there saying we have been up in games and we need to finish games off. We're not going to always be up in games either, by the way, and that's part of football. So it's a case of managing the 90 minutes, and we're aware of it, for sure. We're aware of it, and it's something that we can do better at. Yeah, but I'm definitely. It just sounds like when you said it like that, I'm conscious we're not making a big deal of it. But I understand we need more points, and we need to win more games. Totally accept that.
Yeah, and I guess because the frustration is, at various points this season, you've shown that you're more than capable of getting the good positions in games, seeing those games out. It's just that, clearly there have been games where, for whatever reason, a winning situation's disappeared and you haven't got the points you probably deserved. Now, how much of that is a mental thing? How much of it is a tactical? It's a bit of all of that, I know that. But the mental side of it, I guess, as a head coach, how do you go about working on that with the players? Because tactics you can do on the training pitch, but mentally that's harder as a head coach to...
Yeah, but it's not me just saying I've done my job, we've done the tactics, it's up to you, Yeah, it's got to the last 15 minutes or something, it's your fault. It's not that at all. I think we're all in it together, and there's different ways we can help, the different approaches, the different ideas at certain moments in games as well, and identifying how we can deal with it, and we have to, we can do as well, we're capable of doing it, we've done it, we've done it in the past, and we wanted a better period over the last few games really. We coming through it, we would have hoped for more points, but we haven't got it, but I think for me is what's in front of us and the opportunity still. You know, and it's that balanced view of how much you analyse, do you overanalyse, what do you pick. Talking about we've scored a lot of goals, I think second top scorers in the league. And building on that, and as a group and being excited, but about actually trying to make us stronger, get injuries back if we can, and make the group stronger come end of January, and have a real positive end to the season. And it's tight. The league changes quick. Our home form needs to improve. We need better results, of course, but we need to go tomorrow night with real excitement and what's possible. We've got good players, we've got a good team. The supporters were unbelievable on the weekend. Incredible to go down there and support us like they did, and we need more of that as well tomorrow night. And we need to go there with an excitement and what can happen rather than what's happened and what's gone wrong. I think it can be quite powerful to flip your mind like that, and we need to do that as staff and as players to be really positive, and I'm sure the boys will be, and we the supporters to back us as much as they can and make it a good night.
And just finally, what would you say? Because I think this is a very naive view, but it's a view I think some supporters have. It's a view some of us probably have as well. That there's not enough leaders, there's not enough big voices, there's not enough.
I just think that's quite an easy thing to say about leaders, and that's quite a lot of the time. This is not a dig. No. I just think if a team hasn't won, I've seen it a lot. It's like passion's one thing. Not passionate enough, or maybe not leaders, and it's quite an easy thing to say. Sometimes there's a little bit in that. I can assure you, in terms of the passion, the commitment, seeing the boys after the game and what they're giving us and how they're ready for the next game. It's not that. That's the issue at all. If it was, I'd just say it and I'd address it. It's certainly not that.
I think it's an easy thing to fall back on when it's quite a young team as well, because it's easy. Well, get more old heads in there, get more. But like you say, it's not.
It depends on the personality. It depends on the character as well. You can bring more out of individuals. You can bring more out technically, or a little bit more on the personality. But a lot of the time, you are what you are as well, and you can a little bit improve on certain things. But yeah, I just think it can be an easy thing. That's something we do ask the boys to have that presence and show a bit more personality as much as they possibly can in their own way and express themselves, and that all comes in. And when you've played well and won, that everyone's a leader. Everyone cares. Everyone's trying the best. And if you draw, you get beat. Then it can be questioned. But that's football. That's why we love it. That's why we're involved in it. And why we get the ups and downs of the game, is because everyone can have an opinion and say on things and enjoy it when you win.
Thanks, Mike.
Obviously, as you just saying about, it's easy to sort of say it's not lack of leaders, but in Morris coming back and Luke Ayling are players that the fans really can engage with, because they really get stuck in and they can. It could be very timely them coming back.
Yeah, the two good players. Not getting away from it. Two very good players. And like you say, even getting stuck in, everyone cares, everyone does things and has different skill sets and brings different things to the team. And again, it doesn't mean they don't care or they're not trying. It's bringing a team and a balance of a team. But certainly to have Aidan and Luke back in and around the group is a positive. It's a pretty obvious thing to say, but it gives us a good boost and continue to move in the right direction.
Because I suppose some of the frustrations, disappointments have been that not just in matches that we've been in good positions, but we've been in good positions on the pitch and then often making errors, sometimes unforced passing errors, and these two players that usually convert when they get into the right position.
I've watched every single team in the land. Everyone makes errors. Yeah. Everyone makes mistakes. It's part of the game. Unfortunately, we don't want it to happen. It does make mistakes. Mistakes. It's part of the game. Listen, making it as least as possible is important, and making it maybe certain ones that don't matter as much to others. That's part of it. We got good players. We're a good team. We know that. And over a period of time we need to prove that, and we just need to pick up more points, but I'm convinced that we will.
So opportunity then tomorrow night to prove that, I suppose, for players to go out there and put on a really good performance, and if we get in the position, turning a sort of winning position into a win, I suppose answers a lot of questions, isn't it?
Yeah, questions. I think there's not major questions for me. I think we're in a position in the league where we are for a reason. We're up there around the top, near the top, with a chance of a big opportunity of where we want to get to, and we haven't been to for an awful long time. So that's the big energizer for me of real looking forward to what's possible, and not beat ourselves up all the time about little things that this could have gone wrong, that might have gone wrong, why has he done that. That's part of it. We accept it, we move on, but it's all about accepting the next challenge for me, for the players, for the supporters, and let's give it everything we've got.